WOSU's Curious Sea Bus answers your questions about our region, its history, and its people. One curious viewer wrote in to ask, what do we know about the first African-American graduate of The Ohio State University? Well, it just so happens that 2022 marked the 130th anniversary of the first Black student to graduate from OSU. His name was Sherman Hamlin Guss, and he graduated in 1892. Guss was part of the first generation of African Americans born after the Civil War. Many of them had new opportunities for education that their parents never had. Guss took full advantage of those opportunities and would go on to become a pioneer in the field of education. He started life in Middleport, Ohio, a small town on the banks of the Ohio River in Meigs County. The area was home to a community of working-class Black families drawn in by the salt and coal mining industries. Guss likely attended an all-Black primary school, but he graduated with honors from a white school. He and another Black student were the first non-white students to graduate from Middleport High School. When Sherman Guss arrived on campus, Ohio State was a quaint land-grant university with just a handful of buildings on the outskirts of Columbus. Guss was one of 70 freshman undergraduates admitted in 1888. For comparison, the freshman class these days is well over 8,000 students. While Guss likely faced many challenges due to his race, the available archival evidence shows that he had a positive experience on campus. As a student in the Bachelor of Arts program, Guss took courses in Latin, Greek, English, math, and chemistry. Outside of class, he was an active member of one of the school's literary societies. The student directory indicates that Guss lived in the historically African-American neighborhood known as Bronzeville. Today, it's called King Lincoln Bronzeville. You might think that Guss was forced to live off campus because of his race, but that does not appear to be the case. Frederick Douglass Patterson, another Black student and the first Black OSU football player, is listed as living on campus in the Northern Dormitory at that same time. In later years, as segregation became more the norm, Ohio State was not immune to institutional bigotry. OSU track star and Olympic gold medal winner Jesse Owens was barred from living on campus in the 1930s, for example. In 1892, Guss was one of just 6 students to graduate with their Bachelor of Arts degree. It's hard to know if Guss encountered racism while attending OSU, but if he did, it did not sour him on the institution. He joined the Alumni Association and attended several class reunions over his lifetime. After graduation, Guss headed to West Virginia, where he would dedicate the rest of his professional life to education. He was a teacher and a school principal when high school education in the state was rare. In 1904, he joined the faculty of the West Virginia Colored Institute, a land-grant college created for African Americans in the 1890s. Today, that school is known as West Virginia State University. Sherman Hamlin Guss passed away in 1943 after nearly 40 years as a part of that college community, leaving a legacy as a pioneer in education. Do you have a question for Curious Sea Bus? Head over to wosu.org/curious to submit your idea, vote on which question we should investigate next, and see what we've covered so far.